Come here, bestie. Come here, bestie. Come here, bestie. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. That content is not a marketing strategy. I know. Content is not a marketing strategy. Let's hold this together. If you're tired of the old cookie-cutter marketing advice and want to take your personal brand to the next level with bold, actionable strategies that truly reflect you, you're in the right place. Let's untangle your marketing mayhem with Zoe, the video confidence coach, on the Unboring Your Brand podcast. Unboring Your Brand was recorded on Wadawurrung land. And breathe out. Yes, that's what this podcast is about today. It is about content not being your strategy. Marketing is about creating interest, trust, and real conversations that lead to sales. Now, I know that may seem a bit counterintuitive, or for you, you may be screaming at your screen right now, Zoe. Of course, I know that content isn't a strategy, Zoe. I already knew that. Well, then you should already... This is the thing that I have to keep reminding, not just myself as someone who works in this day in, day out, but the clients that I work with as well. There is a method, especially regarding our previous episode about output over what I think the podcast episode itself was, and I had my notes here. I'm going to look at my notes so I don't go off the cuff like I usually do, was prioritizing strategy over format. That is episode 42, and you can go back in the archive to check that out. But specifically, that episode had come back into a conversation that I was having with Hannah. And so thank you for the spurring of this episode. And essentially, we were talking about how when she was coming up with ideas or ways that she can put her message out there or lead to trust with her audience, she kept thinking of the final format first. Like the Instagram story that was going to go out, or the podcast, or she kept thinking in the line of strategy as opposed to in the line of messaging or in the line of strategy. What is your ultimate goal? And it took a while to kind of get our heads around this. And it's something that I still find myself doing a couple of times because it's an easy shorthand. You think about what the audience wants or needs, and then you put it in a format that they can easily, they can easily gobble up. But this isn't always helpful, not just for them, but also for you. And the question that we ultimately had from Hannah was, how do I stop treating posting content like a marketing strategy or just an off-the-cuff marketing strategy, or in my personal methodology, shooting from the hip? Why? Because I do that a lot. Obviously, if you're a client of mine, I do not shoot from the hip. I think very strategically. But for myself, because it's my brand, it's my personal brand, I can do whatever I want. And if I want to shoot myself in the foot while I shoot from the hip, so be it. That may be a thing that you do as well as me. Come join me. Back to the question, sorry. How do I start doing marketing that actually gets me in conversations and with clients? So ultimately the question that we came up with, Hannah. I want to start off with, when you think about the term marketing, and I'm going to use the big rainbow here, marketing. When it comes to that, what conjures up in your mind when I say that word? Does it conjure up images of numbers, metrics, engagement, things that you can count? Is that because it feels safer or more certain? Or maybe it's a case that just you think more in the final product or the format, like I mentioned before. You think about the images, the videos, the audio that people hear. The final product. But rolling back, the point of your marketing strategy is not the dashboard. Is not like seeing those numbers go up and down, hopefully up. Its marketing strategy is about a conversation that you earn from the right people. And those right people are, yes, they are your target audience, your customer avatar, your super fan, the people who are going to rave about the work that you have done with them and get you more clients, and in turn allows you to grow bigger and bigger so you can help and service more clients. Woo! Capitalism if it worked. Marketing is ultimately designed to create interest. That interest then turns into trust, which then turns into a buying decision, if we're thinking very linearly here. Marketing is also a method, as well as creating trust, is also as, showcasing proof. Showcasing that you know what you're talking about and you have the proof to back it up. You have images and videos of the work that you've done with people. You have podcasts to proof your knowledge. You have social media posts that remind people about your messages or your focus on not just the solution that you provide, but also addressing the problem that people have. A lot of people don't realize that they have a problem. Now, of course, I'm getting real into marketing speak here and a little bit into the marketing weeds here, but a lot of people are kind of just happy with their lot, happy in the mindset of, oh, this is bad, it could possibly get worse, but I'm just going to sit tight because it can't get any worse type of mentality. And especially as the world continues to do whatever it's doing by certain people that I may not name here, it is going to continue to be that unsafe space as the world continues to devolve in that way. And your marketing should be a beacon of light in that gloom. You should be able to provide that solution to people that people need, and in turn be able to help them achieve something that they couldn't do on their own, or maybe that they wouldn't do great on their own. And you're able to do so in a structured format. Because, say it with me now, your content is not your marketing structure. And when it comes to the work that you're doing with your clients and the work that you're doing, you aren't just trying to put your content out there to win one sale. You're not just putting your content out there just to get it one time, aren't you? You're putting yourself out there, you're putting your messages out there, you're putting yourself in every single format known to man to make sure that you can win loyalty, that you can get a repeat purchase, which is always the goal for most, if not all, businesses. And if you aren't trying to get repeat purchases, get on that. And ultimately, a method that people aren't really talking about when it comes to marketing is that you're trying to secure word of mouth from people who love what you do. They may not be clients of yours. They may not be people who have worked with you in the past, but they love what you stand for. They love your messaging, they love your values, and they love what you bring to this world. Yes, buy content because that's what they can consume or be reminded of your existence as often, but also they want a sense of belonging because we are humans at the end of the day. And to do so, you need to be able to lead as the personal brand owner that you are. So in turn, having a strategy to back this up is going to help you as well as help your audience. Because again, it's not just about you. It is about your audience. When they click the link in your bio, when they go to your website, what do they do there? Do they find out about how to book you in for a speaking session? Do they book in a time to coach with you? Maybe they're not ready for that yet. Maybe they're still sussing you out. Is that where they get a lead magnet from? Maybe. Do you get their email list and then spam them with irrelevant shit? Then maybe that's not the case. Hopefully that's not the case. Your marketing structure is more than just the content you put out there because it needs to back everything up that you're saying. Sure, a image of you speaking to a crowd is great, but then what does that do? Other than, oh, this person's on a stage, I should trust them. You hope. What it's going to do is it's going to be one point in a constellation of pieces of proof that remind people to trust you. You know what you're talking about. You're on this stage. If people want to listen or they want to watch what you said on stage, hey, check out my YouTube video. What does that YouTube video also link to? Also links to articles that are on my website. Also links to a prompt to follow my email newsletter where you can get discount tickets to my next event. Again, it's all part of a structure, And if you're leading with just, the YouTube video that people are going to see at the end of the day, that is a good idea or an ideation, but it's not the full structure. It's not the full strategy. And if you are just leading with that final piece first, the entire thing, backing everything up that you're doing, is going to fall apart because you have no substance. You have nothing to back up what you're doing or you're saying because you haven't thought about it. And that's how it honestly feels with a lot of, say, for example, AI slop content or gurus out there. Yes, you've got a, fun video of a cat in boots. But then what does that do? Is it purely to farm engagement so that they can get the follower count up so then they can sell it to another creator and make money? Maybe. Is it purely about getting people's engagement so then they can convince you of something? Probably not, because there's no real trust involved. Other than just like burning down the planet in the meantime, there's not a whole lot of substance to what they do. On the surface, a lot of scams are incredibly thought out, which I do not love. But of course, a lot of these AI slop channels and scams have a little bit of structure to them. So why doesn't your personal brand, which is legitimate, by the way, I'm not teaching any of you scammers to be scammers, your personal brand is legitimate reflection of your professional self. You're there to help and serve your audience. And to do so, you need to be able to back that up with the strategy. Word of mouth, which I said is the pinnacle of how you want to market yourself, is more trustworthy than any other form of marketing because it ultimately comes from people that they like. It comes from their friends. It comes from their family. It comes from their co-workers. It comes from their boss. It comes from their underlings. It comes from people who they trust and already trust. Recently, I was at a family event. So it was a nice barbecue, all chill. And what happened was I was overhearing conversations with, various family members talking about this. To be honest, I've honestly forgotten what it was at this stage. But what it was is that they talked about the story of, have you heard about this? Oh, no, I haven't. What is it about? Then obviously they started, excitedly telling them about this new car, new fishing rod. I don't really know, to be honest. It kind of lost me in the actual details, but I saw the passion that they explaining this, and then proceeded to back up what they were saying with, here's their YouTube channel. Here, I'll send you the link, or here's their website. I'll send you the link, and they go, oh, thanks, mate, and then follow the links from there. And then I saw them at the end of the event still looking through that website and going to the contact page and reaching out. Now, of course, this is one instance. This is one person. This is one example. But this happens billions of times a day through multiple different people. We trust people who we trust already. And if they are providing us some proof, and if that proof looks legitimate, we are going to follow it. Now, of course, that can sometimes fall us in hot water with scams, but that is not exactly what we're talking about today. We are discussing about how your personal brand can be that recommendation. Why? Because you've got the structure to back up the content that you're putting out there. Your content is just the top of the funnel, the top of the itty bitty bitty cake, the little figures on top of a wedding cake. The rest of it is what people are eating, talking about, consuming, in the consuming sense. So in turn, you need to be able to prove what you're doing, not just with the content that you do, but everything that backs it up. Because even marketing gurus can forget this sometimes, which is why I want to repeat it a couple of times for you. And what do you mean, Zoe? So when you say marketing, I mean the whole kit and caboodle of marketing. It's not just the video or the podcast or the short that you put out one day. It is the lead magnet that gets people on board. Oh, it's the email list that you're able to communicate to people with. People who signed up to your email list because they want to hear from you. It is the website that you fully host, it is your platform. You pay for it. It is your platform where you can put not just your, latest lead magnet, your latest project that you're working on, but your opinions. AI cannot generate opinions for its life because it is not real. You are real. You are trying to help real people. And in turn, having a place where you can put your opinions. I may not believe the same thing. I may not even agree with you. But I agree in your right to be able to share your opinions. And in turn, having that on a website that you control is part of that structure. Is making sure that when people go to research you, that you are more than just a Facebook page that was created in 2009 and hasn't been updated since. That they've got something to hang on to and hold on to make sure that you're a real person, to make sure that you're not scamming them out of their life savings, to show that you are the real solution to their problem. And they're going to feel a little bit like that from time to time, because we are constantly going to run into situations where scams and where issues of things not being exactly as they seem are going to occur more, especially when on the internet. So when you are growing a personal brand, you need to be able to back up what you're doing with every single piece of proof, a testimonial with every single thing that you say. And you can find that all on my website, for example. I like to back up everything that I do with a testimonial of some description. At least I do my best. Of course, I can't deliver a testimonial to you because I can't, well, if you found me, hopefully you like my work. Because marketing ultimately is about driving connections and interest, not just posting content and hoping it is seen. Because great, if someone does see it, awesome. What do they do next? Their algorithm, if they spend any time on it, is probably going to feed them the more content because, of course, the platforms want to keep people on their platforms and get as much engagement and attention as they can. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much attention that humans can give. We're kind of inefficient in that way, and that's okay. But for you and the work that you're trying to do, what is going to back up what you are saying? Your preferences are not your customers' preferences. Just because you don't do something does not mean that they don't do it. When you are about to make a decision to post something or say something online, make sure to think about the long-term decisions that are based on those assumptions that you're putting in that content. Especially decisions or statements that could put you in a box later. And I'm not saying in the sense of you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm saying more if you're shooting from the hip, you are more likely to shoot your foot. And this is coming from someone who has done this a lot. Someone who feels like, oh, I need to say something about this. And then I just kind of... And then it does not look very professional. And it's not even a case of even looking professional. It's a case that I just look sloppy. I look like crap. I end up coming off as, someone you wouldn't really want to trust. Now, of course, if you are someone who views me with my crazy hair that I have to constantly keep fixing, and my bright makeup and my bright blue shirt, and you're like, yeah, you're not for me, that's okay. I'm not for you. And that's okay. But for everyone else who likes my vibe, who enjoys my little rants, who enjoys the personality that I imbue into my personal brand, I want to bring you on board. I want to be in the communities that you're in. I want you to join my communities. I want to be there to help and support you grow your personal brand with video marketing. Like, that is my shtick. And arguably that has always been my shtick. I just didn't have the words for it. So when you think about, you're on your couch after a very, very, very long day and you sit there and you do like some doom scrolling that you probably shouldn't be doing, but here you are. And you look at other people's and their highlight reels and you go, I should be doing that. I should be doing that. I should be doing that. So then you think, oh, I'll post this video, or I'll post an image that I took with very little context and the description is just very loose and it doesn't really explain to people what's going on. And I post it out there and then are upset when it hasn't got 1 million views or, above average engagement for you and the work that you do. It's because content is ultimately not a strategy. It is a tool inside the strategy that you're working with. Marketing exists to create conversations, not just metrics, not just engagement numbers, not just analytics. It's about the conversations. And if you do not have a system that enables you to have those conversations, then you are just posting into the ether, posting into the void. And that's probably how it feels. You're doing your best to keep up with the Joneses, whoever the Joneses are, and you're just constantly putting stuff out there and not getting anything back. Your numbers aren't going up, and then you may be tempted to pay for some of those numbers, to pay the platforms to be seen, and then you're just without any money, without any influence, and without really any support from a community that you've grown over time because you haven't really stuck to any sort of strategy. Because people are looking at you going, what are you doing? And even if they do like your vibe, other than like hitting follow or hitting subscribe, which arguably doesn't really do much nowadays, because it's all about the algorithm. Again, people are being fed what the algorithm thinks that they like. And if you are posting once and then ditching, is that a strategy? Is that just content first for the sake of content? Interest leads to trust. Trust leads to sales. And loyalty leads to repeat business. And yes, I may be conflating with the way that you are in your personal brand and business, but because I personally believe that they are very heavily related. They're very heavy twins, I should say. They're very heavy sisters. Not exactly my eyebrows or my wing liner when I do that, but when you are trying to make something of this personal brand, and it is also a case if it doesn't work in the first couple of tries, because you're still learning, you're still growing. But word of mouth is one of the most powerful outcomes that you can build towards. And I have been doing what I've been doing for 15 years. And for a very long time, I felt like giving up. I felt like, all right, this isn't working no matter what I'm doing, no matter how I'm pivoting, yada, 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 yada. I'm just kind of pulling myself in so many different directions and none of it is working. Screw this. And then I got reached out to by people that I hadn't talked to in almost a decade. People I haven't talked to in months or years, really. And it was because that word of mouth was so powerful that led them back to me. And I'm not saying that everything that you do is going to mean that word of mouth is going to magically fix every issue that you have. But you should at least try. Your customers are not you. So don't make strategic decisions based on your own habits. And that is something that I've had to learn. Your habits are different from your values. And I talk a lot here at the Video Confidence Coach about how you're always talk about the solution you provide, who you're talking to, why you're talking to them, and the values that you share. Because the values that you share help you build that trust and build that word of mouth. And habits don't really align with that. So learning that in your own self and trying to lead by example is always the best idea. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Make sure you check out the episode that I mentioned in the intro, episode 42, Prioritizing Strategy Over Format, because this episode specifically helps you strategize first so content supports real connection and not random posting. It is somewhat relevant to this episode, but it's more about the specific strategies over this one, which was just more if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling lost, and you've just been throwing stuff at the wall and nothing is working, try to think bigger. Try to think bigger than just the video. Try to think bigger than just the post that you're making. Try to think bigger than just that one message that you've been using that it clearly isn't landing or working. Try and workshop it with a bigger picture in mind. When someone resonates with this message, where do they go? What do they do? Do I have the facilities to back that up? And if you don't have the funds to invest in a website or an email list, which there are free platforms for this, by the way, you can then maybe try and go, okay, where can I put what realistically steps that I can take that I can use to build trust, even with a small audience. And that is where you start first. And the other episode I would love to recommend you is episode 46, Marketing Burnout Signs and Fixes. So when it comes to keeping your strategy sustainable, so now we're talking not about just content first and then strategy, but actually having a sustainable strategy, you have to show up consistently to earn those conversations over time, which can sometimes lead to burnout. So check out that episode to find out more about how to avoid that. And this is an episode that I play regularly to myself to remind that I have to talk my talk and walk the walk, Zoe, because I do that a lot sometimes. And the simple action I would love you to do after watching or listening to today's podcast is do a 15-minute, so take a bit of time, so breathe and pause, not when you're driving, not when you're doing something else, but to try a conversation audit. So simply, you can get out a pen and paper, and all you need to do is list 3 ways that someone can start a conversation with you this week or today. What can they do? Can they DM you? Can they email you? Can they book in a session with you? Out of those options, or whatever options you write down, pick one of them, and how can you make it easier and how can you make it clearer while not automatically going to content, automatically going to an image or a video or how are you going to make it easier? Think about them, think about their shoes, think about what stresses they're dealing with on a daily basis. Is it as simple as a link? Awesome. Where's that link? Where is it currently living? Is it somewhere where you can find it and you can share easily in a DM? No? Make it happen. I would love for you, if any of this has resonated with you at all, please check out our Golden Hour Reset for clear, simple marketing reset that focuses on what drives real conversations. Because everything that I've talked about today is very generalized, as you can probably imagine, but I want to make sure that I can give you the best personalized care that I can. And in turn, you're going to have to come over and pay me some money to do so. But I will make sure that you get the best return on investment that you have done all year, because that's what I'm here for. Make sure that you subscribe to this podcast or hit follow so you don't miss the next one, which is at the same time next week. And if you are feeling oh so generous, please rate me and this podcast 5 stars or give us a quick review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because it helps more than you can ever dream of. Cheers, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening or watching Unboring Your Brand. You can find detailed show notes with tools, offers, and episode transcriptions. Just click the first link in the description or go to vcc.training/podcast. Get involved and ask me anything about personal branding, video strategy, or just a friendly small business chat via my email, g'day@vcc.training. That is gday@vcc.training. The Video Confidence Coach would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which I record my podcast. I pay my respects to their elders past and present. I stand with the traditional custodians of these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Look forward to me chatting at you next week, superstars.